So this building that we're in right now represents one of the biggest achievements of my grandfather's life. He came from a family that couldn't afford mattresses. There were nights when he would actually sleep on potato sacks that were filled with whatever they could find. And now he owns this. But buying a building and turning it into a business are two different things. And right now, this building needs an identity. It needs a reason for the right businesses to see themselves here. So I'm going to build the entire marketing campaign for the rebrand of this building. Not with a traditional production team, not with 8 different creative tools and subscriptions and payments here and payments there, links everywhere. I'm going to be using one single AI platform. And because this building means so much to my family, the final result cannot just look impressive, it has to be useful. The question I'm trying to answer is quite simple. Can a modern AI workflow produce marketing that is good enough to represent a local family business? This is not a fake company that I invented for this video. This isn't a random product photo. This is a real property, a real space with real costs involved. And eventually, real businesses will need to decide whether they can imagine themselves having their business in here. Before we generate anything, we must understand what it is that we are actually selling. An office complex is not automatically a brand. It's concrete, it's doors, it's windows, it's square footage. Businesses don't choose a space based on square footage alone. They choose based on what that space could mean for them. A more professional image, a place to meet clients, a place that makes their business feel established. And that's when I ran into the first problem. How do we market a building based on possibility without pretending like the building is something that it isn't? I want this campaign to feel aspirational. Every claim still needs to feel real. That's why it's important to start with strategy and not just generating the content. I started by defining the business context. Like, who is this property for? What type of tenant would benefit from being in this building? What does this building actually offer? What's the feeling we want someone to get when they see this campaign? And what action do we want them to take? For this project, I defined the target tenant as local professionals, small service businesses, consultants, healthcare providers, creative teams. The campaign needs to feel professional, established, approachable, and full of possibility. I also created one rule that every concept has to follow. We could make the property look its best, but we could not invent a different property. That rule became important later. This video is made in partnership with Flova. Flova is an AI-native video creation agent platform. And instead of treating it like a box where I type one prompt and hope for a miracle, I'm using it as the production system for this entire campaign. I created a project and added the property details, target audience, campaign goal, visual direction, approved claims, and call to action into the project documents. This matters because a generic prompt has no idea what this building means, who it's for, or what the marketing needs to accomplish. I wanted this project to have business context before it made a creative decision. I also uploaded real photographs and footage from the property. The building itself needed to remain the visual anchor. Once the context was organized, I asked Flova to develop several possible directions for the hero commercial. Not finished videos, directions. One focused on professionalism, one focused on growth, and one focused on the idea that every successful business begins with a place to build. The third concept was the most emotional, but it also created a risk. It could easily become a generic motivational commercial, to the point where we forget that we're actually trying to lease real office spaces. So I combined the strongest emotional idea with the clearest business objective. This campaign will sell possibility, but the property would remain visible. That decision gave us structure. Now I needed to see whether the individual shots could actually support it. I moved into canvas mode to organize the project visually. This is where the campaign stopped feeling like a collection of prompts and started feeling like a production. The opening would establish the real building, the middle would help potential tenants imagine the space in use, and the ending would return to the property with a direct leasing message. Every shot had a job. This one creates curiosity, this one establishes the space, this one communicates professionalism, and this one delivers the call to action. But a storyboard can make anything look good. The first generation is where the idea either becomes real or falls apart. Before generating the main sequence, I opened the prompt draft. This gave me a chance to review what Flova was actually about to ask the model to create. And I immediately noticed a problem. The draft described the location as a luxury corporate tower. This is not a luxury corporate tower, it is a real practical office complex for real businesses. And trying to make it look like something completely different would destroy trust. So I changed the language. Instead of luxury corporate tower, I used professional local office complex with clean architecture, natural light, practical workspaces, and an established business atmosphere. That sounds like a small change, but this is exactly where the human judgment matters. The AI can produce the images, but I still have to protect the truth of the business. The first version looked polished, and at first I thought we had it. The lighting worked, the pacing felt professional, the building felt important. But then this happened. This shot looked impressive, but it was not our building, and that makes it unusable. Marketing does not become better just because it becomes more cinematic. If the creative misrepresents the product, it fails. In a traditional generation workflow, this is usually the frustrating part. One bad scene can force you to restart the entire sequence. But inside Flova, I isolated that specific shot and left a revision comment. I asked it to preserve the real entrance, reduce the exaggerated architecture, match the reference image more closely, and change the camera movement from a dramatic aerial push to a slower ground level approach. Before spending more credits, I reviewed the updated prompt. This version was much more accurate, so I approved it. That distinction is the difference between AI art and usable commercial work. I wasn't convinced yet. One good commercial does not automatically mean we have a campaign. Different platforms need different hooks, and different tenants may respond to different motivations. So I used the same property context to develop multiple versions. Version 1 focused on professionalism, version 2 focused on growth, and version 3 focused on legacy and building something that lasts. My favorite was the legacy version. Obviously, this property already has that meaning for me, but the ad is not being made for me. It has to work for a potential tenant. So I evaluated the variations using 3 questions. Does the property remain clear? Does the message speak to a business owner? And does the final call to action feel natural? The clearest was the professionalism version. The legacy version was the most emotional. So for the final campaign, I combined both. This project changed the way I think about AI creative tools. The hard part was not making something visually interesting. The hard part was making something appropriate. A model does not know which detail is legally safe to claim. It does not know what a tenant will care about. And it does not understand why this building matters to my family unless I give it context. So no, I did not press one button and let AI rebranded an entire business, I built the strategy, I made the positioning decisions, I rejected inaccurate ideas, and I used Flova to help turn those decisions into a reviewable campaign that is a much more realistic use of AI. After the planning, the failed shots, the revisions, and the different versions, this is the campaign I would actually show to my grandfather. This is still marketing, it still needs to be placed in front of the right people, it still needs a real leasing offer, and it still needs to be tested. But now, this building has something it did not have before. A clear story, a visual identity, and a campaign built around the type of business that could grow here. My grandfather did not buy this building because someone gave him a shortcut. He has spent decades working towards moments like this. And I know that one commercial does not compare to that journey, but this is how I can contribute. He built the opportunity and I can help tell that story. You can do the same for yourself or for other businesses. The opportunity is there, and maybe that's the real value of a tool like this. Not replacing the work that came before us, but giving us more leverage to build on top of it. Flova combines elite AI models, a creative workflow, and editing tools all in one platform. So instead of moving between a long list of separate subscriptions, prompts, assets, and editing tools, you can manage more of the production process all in one place. Flova plans start at $19 per month, and you can use the link in the first line of my description to register and receive 100 free credits. You can also receive 200 credits for every new user that you invite. This video was made in partnership with Flova, but the property, the challenge, and every creative decision you saw were real. Check out Flova using the link down below. My grandfather spent his childhood sleeping on potato sacks, and now he added this building to his portfolio. And this campaign is only a small part of what's to come next, because generational progress is not just about what one person achieves, it's about what the next generation decides to build on top of it. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.